Okay, we're back with another drawing slash sketch slash visual, yeah? Today we're going to talk about the system. Everybody goes on about the system, but people don't actually realize that you yourself are the system, yeah? And I'm going to show you how fighting against the system is a fruitless endeavor, because all you need to do is align internally, okay? Fuck all the other shit. Here we're talking about the real stuff, okay? First things first. You. Who or what are you? Okay. You are life plus form. Yeah? That's what you are. All life here on earth is the same. Yeah? There is no such thing as life without form. Okay. Now, life is consciousness or awareness or God, or basically magic, yeah? In a form, yeah? A suit. This suit happens to be a vibrational case, yeah? Also known as your ego avatar, your skin suit, your flesh, yeah? This also applies to amoeba, yeah? Okay, cool. Now, life is formless. It has no beginning, has no end. Form has form, basically, and it begins and it ends because it is vibrational. Okay, cool. So formless plus form equal to you, yeah? Life plus form is the human experience. That's what you are, okay? Cool. Now, number 2. This vibrational suit, yeah? Whether it's spoken into existence or imagined into existence, it's the same premise. It's the same. Whether it's spoken vibrationally or imagined vibrationally, it differs from space and everything around it because it's a unique configuration. Yeah? So this suit is this thing, this vibrational case. Yeah? Now, this thing has a few properties. It is vibrational, as I mentioned before. 2, it is scripted, yeah? Because whether you spoke it or imagined it into being, you would have said, oh, I'm going to play the character X or character Y, and character X or Y comes with a whole universe and a story. That's what the script is. And it runs on a program, yeah? Memory, i.e. what it is, what it's imagined to be, yeah? This is your archetype. Okay, cool. And another property is it has identity, and basically it serves as the interface to enter or play the game of life. Yeah? Any questions so far? I hope not. It's pretty clear. Now, the reason why you think you're a physical being, yeah, is because when this vibrational case, this vibrational suit that you're in, yeah, interacts with space, the interaction between itself and space creates the illusion of physicality. That's why you feel like you're physical, but really and truly, you are formless. There's no form to you, yeah? Okay, cool. Now, the interaction between this suit and also other vibrations. So if you imagine, hold on one second. Now, if you imagine, if this vibrational case or suit is interacting with other vibrational cases or suits, there will be interference, and that interference is what causes the illusion of physicality. Basically, when this thing interacts with space or other vibrations, it creates the illusion of physicality. That's what physicality is, yeah? I don't give a fuck what anybody says. That's the truth. Okay, cool. Now, the next logical question is why? Why does this thing exist? Why does this thing have to exist in this? Why can't this thing just exist by itself? It does exist by itself, but somehow we are locked in a field of awareness or field of consciousness where we have to take form. The reason being 1. Consciousness made a choice of experience, yeah, via a uniquely configured path of remembering, yeah, because consciousness wanted to remember itself in form, yeah. Now, when you actually think about this, right, from our limited perspective as humans, we can't actually know the full reason. This could just be entertainment, this could just be a dream, this could just be for shits and giggles, a simulation just to improve its response or its remembrance time. We have no way to access this information. Anybody that says they know, you can tell them to go away. So you need this thing to enter the game of life, yeah. Now, this is your microcosm, yeah. Basically, this thing comes with one of these, yeah. You need an avatar to have one of these. Okay, cool. Oh, yeah. So we've just established what you are. So you are the observer, the experiencer, yeah? And you reside in form, which is your ego, flesh, suit, yeah? AKA the conduit of experience, yeah? Without this, you can't experience life here. You can't access the microcosm, okay? Cool. Now, so think of this as a GTA character, yeah? With a backstory and all the rest of it. That's your script and your memories and all that other shit. That's what being human is. Now, formlessness needs a form, yeah? But there is a dividing line between the two, yeah? So being a human, formlessness plus form or avatar ego suit is a human experience, right? Now, this line here, when this line gets erased, that's when it can be said that you are living in the flesh, because you've forgotten that you are this, not this. Because this line has been erased, yeah? Due to your slumber, your ignorance, or your stupidity, really, yeah? When you are aware of this line, it can be said that you are present, because you are aware of the game and what is actually transpiring, yeah? Okay, so now this human, within this script, there may be codes, yeah, that are written. Oh, hold on. I've got stuff in the way. There may be codes that are written to encourage awakening or remembering, yeah? Now, these codes may be disconnection, loss, illness, misfortune, suffering, etc., etc. I'm going to touch on this later on. But what I'm trying to say is, right, my battery died. Let me just continue. So, like I said, within the script of the form, there may be specific codes written to encourage awakening or remembering, yeah? These can range from disconnection with loved ones, loss, illness, misfortune, suffering, so on and so forth. It's no different from the character in Street Fighter who, I don't know, loses his fucking family, or the guy, I don't know, the Punisher, or Jonah, or Job. You know, these archetypes, yeah? Those breadcrumbs which lead to awakening are embedded in the code. Nobody comes here and lives a life. If they're truly this, nobody comes here and lives a life with this line erased and will just go through life with nothing happening to them and die. And no, that it doesn't happen, yeah? Because the aim is remembering and coming back to here, okay? Cool. Now, like I said, within the script, there are these codes, these breadcrumbs, right? And these things that will happen. But these will only hurt if this line is erased. If this line is not erased and you are present, disconnection from loved ones, loss, illness, misfortune, suffering, etc., etc., will not hurt. Because why? You are aware of the game and you remember what you are and you know what this experience is. Now, we're going to now talk about the system, yeah? So basically, the consciousness awareness has forgotten the separating line, yeah? So things will happen to pull you back to yourself. Like I said, these things here will only hurt if this line is erased, okay? Now, we're going to talk about the system now. This is my drawing of the system, yeah? And this represents control, compliance, hierarchy, fear, yeah? So once again, remember, you are the formless awareness, consciousness, God, observer in form, yeah? You could be this, you could be this, you could be a fish, doesn't really matter. It's the same equation, yeah? Now, let's not forget that you are also projecting reality out, yeah? So the system that you perceive on the mirror of reality is coming from where? In here, okay? Are there any questions? The system, which represents control, compliance, hierarchy, and fear, is simply the flesh, the ego, the conduit trying to assert its dominance over this thing. That's why hierarchy exists in the first place, because this thing is trying to say, it's me, I'm in charge, basically, yeah? So the reason why you see the system on the mirror of reality is simply because it's actually here. It's happening here, yeah? And why is it coming from here? Is because this line is erased on a macro level. We are not present. So as a result, we have fallen into the flesh, and the flesh is now dictating how things go. Therefore, our reality will look like this. Okay. Fuck off. Now this is where this actually gets interesting, yeah? So we're going to look at this, the system, the ego archetype, and the function of the system in the dream, yeah? Hold on. So if we look at the institution, family, or the legal system, yeah, family courts and all the rest of it, it's an institution in the system. If we go back, this is a physical, what is this actually? This is a physical manifestation of the ego, yeah? Because the line between awareness and form has been erased. So therefore, the physical ego suit has been projected onto the screen, and it takes form and shape as institutions. I'm going to show you exactly what that means and how that manifests in the 3D, okay? Now, so if we look at the family courts and the legal system, yeah? The ego archetype that represents is control, punishment, guilt projection, and self-righteousness. All ego stuff, yeah? And the function of this in the dream is it enforces the idea of right versus wrong via distortion, yeah? If the line wasn't erased between consciousness and form, these conversations wouldn't happen, because there'll be no need to control another, there'll be no need to punish another, no guilt projection or self-righteousness, because you realize what is actually happening. You are consciousness having a human experience, okay? Now, another system is the education system. What does that do? The education system, the ego archetype, the demon, if you like, manifests itself through indoctrination, conformity, suppression of inner knowing, yeah? All of this goes back to the original point. Hold on. Of you are this, living in this, experiencing a microcosm. When the line between these two things is erased, this vibrational case, aka the ego, the avatar, the skin suit, yeah, which has a degree of agency because it's been energized into being by this, will then start to try and control this. So when I say indoctrination, yeah, I say suppression of inner knowing, it's literally reinforcing the removal of this line between life and form. Okay? Let's press on. So where am I? So the education system, the ego archetype is indoctrination, conformity, suppression of inner knowing. Yeah, its function in the dream is a simple one. It shapes identity and punishes creativity and rewards sheep, which basically means sheep are people. Excuse me, I don't know what's wrong with my throat. Sheep are basically humans that have fallen into form and forgotten that they are consciousness, so they operate like animals, so therefore they have a shared hive mind and behave like sheep or pigs or any other type of animal. This is self-evident. You can look around in town, you see it. Yeah, it shapes identity, i.e. it shapes the interaction between formlessness and form. Yeah, aiming to have formlessness put in a box so it can be easily controlled. And it punishes creativity, i.e. it punishes any type of reinforcing of the line of separation, any type of presence, any type of thinking outside of the form. It punishes it. Yeah, that's the job of that. It's the ego in human form. And also, sidebar, all the people you find in these institutions are mostly living in ego. Yeah, okay. The next one is the government and the state. Yeah, the institution of that. And what that, the archetype of that is a simple one: fear of chaos, obsession with control, and identity preservation. Yeah, what does that mean? Keeps order, the order being the removal of the line between awareness and form. Yeah, by defining reality for you, because you're no longer present. This line has been removed. So therefore, chaos is created by the ego, and you fear it because you've forgotten that you are not the form. You are the formless energy within it. Yeah, and you become obsessed with control. Yeah, and preserving your identity. Nationalism, all that kind of stupid stuff is found here, and is projected on the screen, and it manifests itself as the government. I'm not even going to bother explaining what government means or the root word or the etymology of the word. If you look into it, it will confirm exactly what I've said down to a T. Yeah. Next one, religion, false religions anyway. Ego archetype, shame, fear, guilt, external authority deferred, i.e. you put your authority outside of you. Again, erasing the line between consciousness and form. Yeah, shame, fear, guilt, all these things are found in form. Yeah, and you place this power here because this line has been erased. That's what this thing does. That's its job, and that's why it's projected on the screen as religion. It replaces inner and direct knowing. Yeah, what does that mean? It removes the line and makes you trust the form rather than trusting awareness and consciousness. Yeah, and it replaces it with hierarchy and doctrine. Once again, what is hierarchy? It's the animal telling consciousness that I'm in charge, I know the way. Yeah, these are my rules, follow them. Okay, next one, the medical system or the pharmaceutical industry. Again, another system. What's the ego archetype? Fear of death, fear of illness, avoidance of inner healing. Yeah, because you can heal yourself. Yeah, you are a machine. You can heal yourself, just like a computer, even after a period of time, can actually get rid of, because of the things inside of it. Forget a computer, you come with white blood cells, you come with an actual army inside of your physical avatar that can deal with stuff. Yeah, it can heal bones, all sorts of stuff. If you think it's not possible, how comes animals do it? Okay, so let's use our brains. Yeah, so fear of death, fear of illness, avoidance of inner healing, and it creates dependency. Once again, removal of the line between formlessness and form. Yeah, so it gets you to depend on this, forgetting that you are this, not this. You are this, having an experience through that. Yeah, its function in the dream, to disconnect from self and externalize healing. Yeah, so again, it disconnects you from yourself. Yeah, pulls you into here by erasing this line, and externalizes healing. So you forget that you can actually, because you're in form, you can actually energize form and heal it. Yeah, okay. Next one is the media and the news industry. Hold on. So the media and news industry, or system, is simply projection. It's ego archetype, that is. Projection, manipulation, and creation of fear. Yeah. And it programs your perception and creates identity attachment. Once again, it erases the line, gets you to be attached to form. Yeah, shapes how you see the world by removing this line. That's the job of this system. All these things are the ego projected onto the screen. Okay, now the social kind of institutions, social welfare, child protection services, all those things. The ego archetype is the savior complex, yeah, shadow projection, paternalism. It's funny how most people that actually rely on these things scream about feminism, but it's actually paternalism in its shadow form. It's a fact, yeah. The illusion of care, masked control, and fear-based authority, yeah. It enforces help via coercion. You don't do this. If you want help, you gotta do this. If you kick out the men out of the homes, then you can get some help. Its central role is to distort family dynamics. Yeah, all of these are facts. So you being a projector, because you're experiencing yourself. Yeah, I'm not gonna repeat myself. You can go and check out the other stuff I've spoken about this at length. So you're projecting reality out. Yeah. And this being the screen of reality, when you see the system and all these things and you think they're out there, they're not out there. Yeah, the system is found on the screen of reality, but there's nothing out there. In fact, it is in here, because the line between this and form has been erased. So this is identifying with form and thereby projecting the ego onto the screen. And the ego is not punishing, but the ego is making this thing suffer. Not suffer in the traditional sense, but it's creating situations where this thing has to start to realize that actually, what's going on? I am not this thing. I don't need validation from this thing. I'm actually this, having an experience through form. Yeah? So, once again, you're human. Consciousness in form. Yeah? The ego externalized is the system. This can't be argued with. This is a fact beyond anything. Yeah? Now, if we talk about a system, the system will attempt to control, coerce, define, preserve a false illusion of you. Yeah? Because it removes the line between consciousness and form. Yeah? It erases the line. So you think you're the ego suit, not consciousness. And most people that live in ego think that they are this. They have no idea of this, even though they are this the whole time. Yeah? Okay. Now we're going to talk about the 3D representation of the byproducts of the system. Hold on 1 second. We've gone through how the system is just you. It's just the ego on the micro scale and the macro scale, because the system applies in your microcosm and the macrocosm, unless of course you've done the work and ascended it and the system can't touch you. Yeah, because then you actually place the ego where the ego is supposed to be. This comes with work. Now, when you still live in the flesh and you still live with that line between consciousness or awareness or your formless God nature, if you live as though the line is blurred, there are certain things that will happen to you, yeah, which directly show on the 3D, yeah, and it ties in with the system as well, because it will show itself, and I'm going to tell you why this happens. Also, these things happen not because the system is your enemy, yeah. The ego is actually, although yes, it presents as the enemy. Bear in mind, even the devil goes to meetings in heaven, yeah. In your own religious books is there, yeah. He goes to heaven. He's one of God's angels. You have to understand that the ego plays a role, yeah. It plays a role because you need it to actually be able to have the human experience. Over identification with the ego will cause you nothing but suffering and pain, yeah. And this suffering and pain is not to punish you, because that punishment nobody gains from it, yeah. It's only for you to remember who you are, because the game itself is about remembrance. Okay, now let me just go over this quickly. So like I said, when you over identify and this line is blurred and you are living in here, certain things will happen, yeah. And these things will happen to push you back here, to make you aware that there is a line, and you need to reinforce that and become present, yeah. Okay, so the first thing that can happen is emotional entanglements, yeah. Now emotional entanglements, you get into like the 3D representation is, you have anxiety over custody of your kids, court results, anxiety over money, anxiety over titles, job titles, all that kind of stuff, right? Because these are all emotional entanglements. You're entangled here. Now, why does it happen? Because it's happening for you to become aware, so you can break identification with external validation and recognize the truth that there is no motherfucking spoon. Yeah? Okay. Victimhood consciousness. This is the people that cry wah 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 at everything. Yeah, oh fucking racism, oh my god, fucking, oh my god, oppression, fucking. Persecution by the system's persecuting me, oh my god, life is unfair, wah 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 wah, all this stupid stuff, right? Why is this happening? Because the mirror is showing you where you've given your power away or attached. Yeah? So of course, when you live in the flesh, the ego will keep persecuting you, because that's what the ego is scripted to do. That's its nature. Okay? Now, obsession with being right. That's another telltale sign of somebody that lives here. These things are things that you find in people that live here, not here. Anybody that is emotionally entangled with stupid shit is a victim, or obsessed with being right, has no idea what this is, I promise you, okay? Now, people that argue with courts and proving the truth and demanding accountability or apologies or reparations, all this stupid stuff. Why? Because when that happens and you see those things on your mirror, it's telling you that it's an invitation for you to release control and let go and dissolve egoic righteousness, because you are not righteous as long as you're living here. You're kidding yourself. Let's go deeper. Anybody that's chasing love or approval, in the 3D, it will show itself as people that over-explain. They beg for contact, beg for reconciliation. They tangle with toxic people, all this other stuff. It's self-evident, yeah? Why? Because it's telling you to source love inside. As long as you're living this way, you will never find love, because love only exists inside. Why? Because there is no love here. Love is here. And there is no spoon. Okay. People that have unhealed parental wounds. Oh my God, this happened to me in my childhood. Stuff, yeah? They repeat the abandonment cycle and they choose emotionally unavailable people. That's how it manifests in the 3D, yeah? Because they haven't healed from the wound. the line between awareness and form is gone. It's a call for you to integrate your shadow. Yeah? People that exhibit patterns of, loss of stability. It happens, yeah? It happened to Samson, happened to Job, happened to Jonah. It happens all the time. Even on the 3D screen, it happens to people on the screen. You see it. Eviction, job losses, scandals, instability, so on and so forth. What's actually happening is this. Your false foundations are being removed, and the labels are being removed in order for you to rebuild in truth, because you have blurred the line and you're living in illusion. So everything's being burned away for you to start again in truth. Start from the position of awareness, separation, form. Yeah? That's why this happens. Okay? Children being pulled away in parental alienation, divorces, that kind of stuff, yeah? Denial of contact, false allegations, family fragmentation. That's how it manifests in the 3D. What's that telling you? You need to surrender control. You need to break away from the identities as a possession. I'm a father. I'm a mother. I'm a this. I'm a that. Your definition of what a father is, your definition of what a mother is, your definition of what a citizen is, your definition of all those things are found in the ego. They are not real. No system, no ego can tell you what a father is. A father is intrinsic. It's an archetype. It's archetypal energy. Yeah? It's just like being a king, being a leader, being a sage, being a nurturer, being whatever. These archetypes, it's embedded. It's what you actually are. You don't have to prove it to anybody. If anybody or any system's getting you to jump through hoops, you're jumping through hoops because you are attached to the idea, yeah? You're attached to the illusion of that identity. You're not that. So when that's happening to you, it's a call for you to awaken and realize that proximity is not the same as presence. Don't engage with the courts. Let them do what they want. Walk away from the ego. Come back to presence and everything will be fine. The story is not ended. Everything will flow back to you once you go back to center. Do with it what you want. People that have health challenges, yeah? I keep telling you, there are no accidents here. You can believe what you want. I don't really care. So in the 3D, it can show itself as, exhaustion, mental fog, illness, hypochondria, people that are hypochondriacs and all that kind of stuff, right? What is that? What's happening? Why is it happening? Because your body, your physical vibrational shell is asking for recalibration. It's asking you to go back to center. It's asking you to go back to presence. It's asking you to detox from the ego, because your actual avatar seeks balance as well. Without balance, your avatar is actually uncomfortable. If you think what I'm saying is not true, stay up, yeah? Don't follow any of its natural rhythms, yeah? Because homeostasis is there for a reason, okay? Try and you just live a life that's all, in one direction. Fucking eat fucking shitty food, stay up all night, drink all night, don't drink water, do whatever. You will see what will happen, yeah? It will destroy you. It will destroy your experience, yeah? So the thing itself will ask you to recalibrate. That's why you have those lesions, you have headaches, you have aches and pains and stuff like that, because the thing itself is asking you to go back to center. When you experience unexpected isolation, yeah, your friends vanish, relationships end, you almost feel like an outcast, you're misunderstood. Why is this happening? This happens so you can stop and look inside, because you are not a label. You are not a girlfriend. You're not a boyfriend. Yeah, you're not a friend. That's not what you came here for. You transcend all of that. You are awareness itself in human form. When you fall too much into the identity, which is false anyway, of the ego, it will happen because it's telling you to go back to who you are. Okay. When cycles repeat or things get delayed in your life, the same problems will reload or re-loop. It's like you're running the same level over and over and over again. Why is that happening? Because you are resisting, yeah? You're not integrating truth. That's why that's happening, yeah? Now, this is where it gets interesting. So your synchronicities will start to turn into warnings, yeah? When that happens to you, broken items or broken bones or broken skin, broke injuries, yeah? Near-death experiences, missed opportunities, yeah? Deja vu, missed calls and messages and stuff like that. Important things you miss, keep missing them, yeah? Because this is actually warning you. Why? Because the mirror is amplifying the message. You are missing something, yeah? You are missing something. You're going the wrong direction, okay? Now, what's the next one? When your dreams... when you have dreams with symbols, yeah, you have like symbolic dreams repeatedly, yeah, visions of death, loss, mirrors, betrayals, etc., etc., etc. Why? It's because you're being shown where you're going wrong, yeah? You're being shown where you're actually dropping the ball. Yeah, you're being shown it. The mirror is almost telling you, hey buddy, you're projecting your what you're projecting here is not the right thing. You're too much in the illusion, yeah? Now, what's the next thing? When you experience disrespect or betrayal, yeah? You're being lied about, you're being misrepresented, you're being disregarded, yeah? It's a mirror to see where you're betraying yourself or your own boundaries, yeah? So you've gone past the boundary between awareness and flesh. So it will show you that by being betrayed, because you've betrayed your own self. You are interacting with a mirror. Okay, now, what about when people that, when you see on the 3D people that panic to reclaim control, yeah? So they're filing appeals, or they're reacting to the news, or reacting to the world, they're arguing, they're on Twitter or whatever, leaving comments and shit like that, arguing over some stupid policy that is actually meaningless in the grand scheme of things and all that stupid stuff, trying to correct people and all this other shit. It's an ego pattern of grasping onto illusion, yeah? That's why they are literally panicking, because they are trying to reclaim control of what? Only they know, yeah? Lastly, addictive escapes, yeah? Whether it's overeating, over fucking, over drugging, or doom scrolling, or whatever people use to escape, video games, whatever it is, you are avoiding the truth. So these byproducts, yeah, will happen to you or your reflections to show you where the lines have been blurred, yeah, between awareness and form. The aim of the game is to remain present and realize every moment of the day, all the time. It's hard, I know, but try. You are the awareness behind your eyes. You are not the body. You're not the labels it comes with, not the stories it comes with, yeah? Also accept the fact that you are in form, there are breadcrumbs, yeah, which consciousness itself probably geared into the script, which will happen, yeah? Some of these things I've just shown you will happen, and when they happen, they are not bad things. They are happening to pull you back when you fall too deep into the illusion. It's almost like taking a super sleeping pill and you go into some virtual world and you're playing a character, an avatar, yeah? But the dream is so deep because you forget all your powers, you forget everything you are, whatever, you're completely gone, yeah? You're starting as a blank slate, because that's how we start the game. And you don't even know who or what you are, yeah? Now, Once you get into the game, there are certain things that you've put in place. Breadcrumbs. I keep telling you about breadcrumbs. That's what it is. You've put breadcrumbs to take you back home. And some of these breadcrumbs will show themselves, yeah, as disrespect, betrayal, being a control freak, having fucking wanting to escape, getting into emotional entanglements, being disconnected from your spouse, being disconnected from your children, your friends vanishing, being an outcast, being misunderstood, losing stability. All these things are not bad things. They are literally breadcrumbs telling you, hey, stop. You're too much in the illusion. Return back to source. Return back to who you are. Return back to awareness. Reinforce that boundary between you and form. Once you do that, I promise you, the story will literally rewrite itself, because the aim of the game is for you to remember so you can come here and express and experience this place. This place is abundant. It's a simulation. It can go any way you want. It's like a dream. You can go anywhere you want. Those of you that are born in the 80s, 80s babies, if I told you that, when we were growing up watching fucking Cartoon Network and Looney Tunes and all this other shit, right? Space Jam and all this shit that we grew up on, yeah? If somebody told us that, hey, before we get to 40 years old, yeah, there will be discussions about moving your consciousness into, like, basically immortality, we would have laughed in their faces. If people told us that the internet and smartphones will be working the way they're working now, it would have blown our minds. Of course, because everything's possible here. It transcends the human mind. Do you understand? So whatever the case may be, when these things happen, there are checkpoints for you to check yourself, bro. Do you understand? And if you keep going down the wrong way, the only thing that's going to happen is you, the avatar, are going to lose your experience. Yeah? Consciousness will carry on. It can't die. It will just pick another avatar and experience this one. And it will know that, oh, when I play that character, it doesn't actually work for me. And I didn't remember who I was. Do you understand? So the system is nowhere. So that these are the fundamentals, yeah? Let's recap. So you know what you are, yeah? Form and formlessness together, yeah? When the boundary between these two things are gone, yeah, the code within your script will activate and things will happen to you. And these things are happening to you for you to check yourself, yeah? When you're too much into the flesh and you're raging against the system and stuff like that, there is no system to argue with, because the system is just your ego manifest in form. Your ego has been made flesh, has been made concrete, if you like, with flesh in there, yeah? That's why when you argue with the courts and you argue with the system, you never get anywhere. You can write all the emails in the world. You can come with all the evidence you like. You can write fucking tomes of fucking, oh my God. It's almost like the people don't speak English, right? Why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? Because you've fallen into an illusion and you're dealing with the illusion expecting truth. You're already in the world of lies. You're in the illusion expecting truth. You can't expect truth from lies. It's not going to happen. So until you remove yourself from the ego's fucking grip and come back to presence, don't expect truth. Don't expect your life to flow in truth. Don't expect it. And if you keep fucking doing it, you keep repeating these patterns, the reality will keep bashing your head against the glass over and over and over again until you learn it, yeah? Because it's not trying to hurt you, it's just trying to get you to remember, yeah? And these things are there, you place them there yourself. Trust me, you dreamt it in the fucking script of your being, yeah? So they are not bad things, yeah? So there's no part of the human experience that requires us to go and engage with courts and the media and try and, prove yourself. You don't have to prove yourself to anything or anyone. What you are is what you are. Yeah? Recognize the truth. There is no spoon. You're in your own microcosm, experiencing your own self. Yeah? Don't go past the line. Don't erase the line between yourself and form. Form is not you. Yeah? Don't go and live in a world of form. Don't seek validation. Yeah? Nobody can validate you. There's nobody there anyways. Only your reflections. Yeah? Some of them, some of these reflections, i.e. your children, you're just a starting point of the reflection, but they're their own beings. You don't control anyone or possess anyone or anything. Do you understand? Yeah. And if you get to a point where, it's almost like, let me give you an example. So let's say a person is in the family courts trying to fight to have access to their child, right? You're fighting, but you come with all this stuff, and it's like you're never able to win. Of course you're not going to win, because the ego will reward the ego. Yeah. And chances are, because you're in the world of the ego, you're entangled with an egoic person. So naturally, they will reward themselves. It's almost like the language you're speaking is a language that's not understood to them. And what's that showing you? That's showing you that you are seeking validation. You want to be proven right. You want the label that you're attached to, as being a father or a mother, to be validated somehow, yeah, by the system. You're expecting the ego to validate you? How? If you're a mother or a nurturer or a father or a protector, it's an archetype. Who's to say that who told you that you're supposed to have them every other weekend or whatever for that to prove that you're a father or a mother? It's got nothing to do with proximity, bro. Your archetype is it shows itself in presence. Don't engage with it. And once you don't engage with it, the story has to rewrite itself, because the experience changes. The same with the people that play victim. Oh my God, racism. Oh my God, they don't like us. Oh my God. Who told you that you're a black person? Who told you that you're a fucking whatever person? Who told you? Why are you attached to that image anyway? Why are you attached to? Why are you giving your power away? Why do you want somebody to come and give you reparations? Why do you want somebody to acknowledge your pain? Why? If we go back to the original point, you just woke up in your body, yeah? Your formlessness in a form. The form comes with a script. Why are you attached to the script? It's not yours to own. It's not yours to hold. You're only here temporarily to experience being a black person. You will die and become reconstituted next time as a whale or a fucking shark or a fucking woodpecker or fucking anything. The stereotypes are not yours to own, bro. Regardless of what the screen tells you, it's not yours to own. Don't give your power away, bro. Make sure you're operating on the line past the form. You don't need to operate in the world of form. You need to operate in the world of formlessness. Anyway, it's a bit of a long one, but I'm trying to get this stuff out because I'm going away soon, so I'm trying to do this stuff.